Also in Washington is former Ambassador Mark Ginsberg, who's lived in Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon. He served as U.S. Ambassador to Morocco under President Clinton. Ambassador, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You've been involved in a number of these high-level discussions before, but I wonder, as you're watching this frosty photo op yesterday, what are you thinking?
I'm more concerned about the fact that there seems to be this theoretical discussion over borders when the peace process itself is completely stalled and the Palestinians are focused on generating a UN General Assembly resolution calling for recognition of a Palestinian state around those 67 borders. The United States and Israel have obviously some disagreement here, but at the same time, it's going to take the United States to help get the stalled peace process underway, Russ. And without direct presidential involvement, the president can make all these statements that he wishes, but unless the parties sit down to actually do the negotiating, we're really talking in the clouds here.
As Whit pointed out, of course, the president made that 1967 border proposal at his speech on Thursday, the day before the meeting with Netanyahu. Why do you think he made the statement that day when the White House had to know that was going to be controversial? And who was he speaking to, the president I'm speaking about? Was he speaking to the Arab world or to Israelis?
Well, I don't think he was speaking to the Israelis. In a 15-page speech, this one sentence seems to be the fixation of the entire world. And he was speaking largely to the Arab world. This speech was about the Arab Spring, United States policy to the Arab Spring, and lo and behold, the president inserts this line. I think it was really, from what I've heard, some sort of compromise, a last-minute compromise between his resigning negotiator, Russ Mitchell, who wanted a comprehensive statement by the president on the U.S. policy towards a comprehensive peace, and the president deciding to insert this sentence. And yet, this statement, more or less, Russ, has been more an accepted part of negotiation folklore for years. I really don't understand why it's become such a major controversy when Secretary of State Clinton and others have discussed this with Israel before. I think it comes down to the fact that the president really blindsided Israel here, and in a speech which was supposed to be largely focused on the Arab Spring, it basically focused on U.S.-Israeli relations as a result.
Well, interesting. Two quick questions here. How do Israelis view President Obama at this point?
I think there's concern. I think that he's personally popular in Israel. I think, however, there's concern that he seems to be focused so much on the Palestinian equation, and the president needs to go to Israel, talk directly to the Israeli people. He has to gain their confidence that he has their best interests at heart, and he hasn't done that yet.
And Ambassador, the relationship between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Obama, is this something that can be saved at this point?
Oh, I think these gentlemen have talking quite a bit behind the scenes. We tend to over-exaggerate because of this type of exchange and disagreement. But I know that from my colleagues in Israel that the president and the prime minister talk quite often privately, and that their relationship is not obviously the closest and the friendliest, but I think the two of them have a reasonable business relationship. And look, this disagreement is not going to undermine the core strategic relationship between Israel and the United States.
Okay. Ambassador Mark Ginsberg, as always, we appreciate your insight. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.